Okay, so I think we have a few ports of calls, potentially. Now that I can't put the bronze rod here, I kind of want to go back to the Elder's Cave and see if he'll let me put one there. And I think in the future we potentially lie about what those things do, because clearly, like, the actual goal of them seems a little bit suspicious. We might even have to, be a little bit sneaky about things. I also think I want to go here, because there was a guy here, I think. Or at least I think that's where he is. Like, the Gatekeeper, is he called? Quintus. Is it Quintus? Yeah, the Gatekeeper born and raised in Old Pagos. He used to take care of the western gate that leads to the heart of the forest, so I'm pretty certain he is over that general area. And at some point I have to make my way back round here to deal with the fallen tree again. Okay, let's head here then. The corridor of leaves and grey rocks leads you to a gate, large enough for a wagon held together by a wooden bar. The planks and rocks are covered with claw marks left by various monsters, but they weren't able to damage the wall as much as the passage of time and the piercing rains. A large man covered in shadows observing you from the roof tower. His voice is hoarse, distrustful. You're lost. I don't know your mug. I'll be friendly. I introduce myself. Good time to get to know each other. Yeah, I've got naught but time, he chuckles weakly, leaning on the parapet. I heard no human voice in days. I'm armed, He sticks out a loaded crossbow, but I'm no enemy. Just on duty guarding. You can hang around, but I've got no ale or water. He leaves the tower. He's wearing a black gambeson so ragged it can't be fastened anymore. It tells a story of claws, thorns, and improvised repairs. The hole in the man's hemp pants reveals a scraped knee. It's hard to tell his age through his exhausted, sleepy eyes. A short, unkempt beard and a bandage horizontally covering his ears, and the spot that used to be his nose. There's clotted blood in his brown hair, and mud on his clothes and brown neck. Despite all this, he's of a huge shell, with wide shoulders and thick legs. He crouches, places his crossbow on the wall, and gives you a curious look. You're new to wardening? New here, but I know what I'm doing. No pass would prepare you for this shit place. Nights are all ache, piss and blood. Just before sunrise, a bird tried to pluck my eye. This gate here. He places his hand on a brick as if to prove it exists. It's older than me. All there. He points behind him. Wilds and beasts. My tribe built this place to keep them away from us. And us from them. He scratches his bandage on his cheek. Name's Quintus, from Old Pagos. Been there. I have, they won't let you in. So you know. We used to spend one soul here every morning and escort them back before nightfall. But some days ago, no one came for me. I spent a night here sneaking wolf shits almost got me. He picks up an almost empty woodskin from behind a parapet and takes a sip. I went home by myself only to learn about the sick. I've been here ever since. What do you know about the plague? Not much. It kills, that's all there is to know. My tribe's smart, locking the gate. The right gave them strength. Shouldn't you look for a real shelter? He trembles, his eyes widen. Someone has got to stay at the gate. The villagers in the east don't know about the illness. They may try crossing the woods, hit the closed gate while fleeing some wolves and stuff. He rubs his dirty neck. And I also can't leave the gate open. It's like a dam for monsters. If all I can do is choose the way I die, this is it. With my duties fulfilled. Honestly, that's pretty noble of you. You could at least spend the night time in one of the villages. I'm surprised he survived this long. Well, you can call it surviving. I call it potions. His chuckle makes him wince in pain. He puts a hand on his stomach and leans away. Beast took me for easy play, but the good monks from the mountains equipped our guards well. They're helping our ill, but used to brew all sorts of stuff. His hand moves to an earthenware bottle by his belt. About this gate. Here, see? He points at the long, twisted rope that hangs from an iron hook. I could climb down and remove the beam on the other side. You'll take down yours. You need at least 3 hours to get through the woods. He touches his stomach and takes a deep breath. But I need ye to give me art first. What do you want? I'm hungry. Bring me some rations, maybe. Dried meat, apples, nuts, maybe. He sizes you up. 3 meals, then I'll help you with the gate. How about I pay you instead? Buy whatever you like in the village? Don't you have time to hunt? Sure, I'll bring you some food. Sure, I'll bring you some food, my friend. How much do I have? I have 5 food rations. Thanks. His smile may be disfigured by his wounds, but is as warm as his voice. I'll take any help I can get. I've got your food rations. He gives you a radiant smile. He cups his large, scarred hands, waiting for him to give him the packages. Once he's done, he opens a sack of nuts and shoves them into his mouth. The bandage is the only thing that stops him from looking like a hamster. Do you know about Eudocia, the enchantress? I was wondering if you could place this in your tower for her. You unpack and show him the rod. Lighter than it looks, he says quietly. And I know Eudocia. She's always does out weird. She was a quiet kid, but a smart one. Never tried to steal my milk. He hands it back to him and puts on an unpleasant smirk. But I'm doing naught for free. Let me guess. Bring me 3 rations, some tasty ones. My people won't be happy that I'm doing favours for a dissenter. Even a dissenter. I don't mean you. He clears his throat after seeing your look. I better get strong before I start making excuses, no? Right, 3 food and we can put a rod here. Have you seen some people from the creeks? I know naught about people, but I met Vashkel. It takes him a few breaths to notice you're waiting for him to go on. They spent 1 night at this tower with me. Came from there, sorry. He points at the woods in the east, and I went back there. They were building a trap somewhere behind the lake. They shared a partridge with me, but never came here again. Good soul. Very open-eyed. What can you tell me about the road between the gate? Honestly, I'm trying to get the key for the other gate. It's kind of the reason why I'm talking to you, but... Oh, not much. His chuckle turns into a cough. It leads through the lowlands, mostly woods and some ponds. It's dark and lethal. He mentioned tales of ghosts, dragons, fogs, and blood mages. Whenever you ask about any creature in particular, his response is vague and brief. The tribes abandoned this path. Ever since the war, the trade has been slow. People refuse to patrol it. The plants are getting taller, but for at least a few more seasons, it's still a shortcut. It's good that you have a mount. If aught chelseas you, always stay close to the pass and ride as fast as you can. I'm looking for Asterion. That's nice, but he hasn't been here in many days. Are you sure he's not dead? After you admit that he's a very much be, he puts a hand on his waist. Well, better get ready to slit open every dragon belly in the wilds. Did he often travel through the woods? Sure, though on a different mount. He had a saurian, 4 ibexes long, 2 ibexes tall. It moves on 4 legs and jumps high and far. It's dark green like rotting leaves. That one time, I was taking a piss in the shrubs, and Asterion made the bees run up the rock face and then jumped on that. He points at the hill. And they ran above the wall and landed on the other side just like that. He snaps his fingers, his voice and eyes gain new vigour. You say Saurian was large and green? I mean, not everywhere. He points at his eyebrows. He has red scales here and on his tail and shoulders, I think. I don't know what to call it. You ask me about Asterion, but he has little to add. There used to be 6 of us keepers. I saw him every now and then, but not that often. What about the bandits? Are they bothering you? He scratches the bandage on his cheek. I only know there's one band somewhere, but not around. I never saw them. Why are you afraid of Glaucia? He straightens up and gives you a long look. I don't know who you're talking about. He doesn't trust me, okay. Despite the fact that I'm, feeding this poor, sorry son of a gun. If no one uses the road, why are you here? He scowls at you. Not no one. It's where people hunt for monsters, and every few days I have to open it for reasons. Ah. What's it like to live in Old Pagos? He opens his mouth, giving you a puzzled look, then lets out a weak chuckle. What am I to say? We've got rocks. He taps the wall. And make houses, bowls, tools. We sell them too. We grow oats and broad beans. Ibexes give us wool and skins for monks. What do you call it? The one you write on. He moves on when you mention parchment. Yeah, it's a good place. Beautiful, old. Hill, that's what Old Pagos means. Old hill. When you bring up the monastery, his eyes get brighter. Good people. They came here on a mission, teaching us Right's book. My grandparents were pagans, but we now follow the river of truth. We keep to ourselves, but help others when they need us. You could spend night times in villages, by the way. He adjusts his jacket by shaking his shoulders, making the buckles jingle. I'm not a beggar, and the villages in the north won't help me for more than a day or two. I've got no dragon bones, just this little ibex. He pats his crossbow. All Pagos is by itself. We don't look for kind folks. He thinks for a moment. I'll just wait. I'll get back home once the plague is done. Who's going to tell him? Or before winter? You understand, I'm sure. Wardens are souls of duty. But seriously, you're tempting the forest. You need to seek shelter. Nah! He waves it off with a smile, but once he speaks, his voice cracks. Where would I go anyway? How about Foggies? It's not that far away and they seem pretty, nice. Maybe for ye, but her tavern is already full. I'd have even less space there than I have in this tower. It gives you a long look. I could spend some time with Pelt's crew again, but I can't afford to stay from now until spring. Unless they're looking for a pair of hands, I better stay here. Don't you miss fresh, warm food? Rations lose their charm quickly, so the thing stopping from going to Pelt right away is dragon bones. I mean, that's a pretty big thing. In the north, everyone looks after themselves. The hunters may be friends, but I won't beg them for help. We could ask the innkeeper to let him stay for labour. We'll return to this later then. Okay, else? So, this guy doesn't seem to have any knowledge about the key, unfortunately, for this tower. Okay. Let me go to Old Pagos then. And how long have we got left in the day? 10 hours. The road is still covered with Pebbler's leftovers, as well as all the leaves and branches on the ground. But at least the beast is nowhere in sight. Even though there are some fresh paw prints just nearby, your plan worked just fine. Let's hope the locals won't be upset about the wasted fruits. Well, tough. They're dealing with a plague right now. They weren't eating them. A column of fire comes from the settlement. As you reach the gate, you hear weeping. You knock on the gate a few times, but for a minute or two no one comes. Finally, Tertia opens the peephole. You approach the gate and knock at it. She gives you a long look. Healthy still. Good. Eudocia, the enchantress from the east, wants to know if Eulalia and Arrhenius have avoided the sickness. A long, uncomfortable silence. She's too late. They are asking for their daughter in their nightmares. Before the illness took away their tongues, we burned both of them the same day, if it means aught to her. She looks down. Tell her I'm sorry for her loss. I hope she found the peace she was looking for. Are there any hunters from the creeks locked in with you? Oh, that's kind of useful. She frowns. You're the first soul who came here in a very long time. Okay, we've talked to Quintus, he's doing fine. So he's still with us. Her voice rings with enthusiasm. She asks about his well-being, reacting to your story with a mixture of worry and joy. I'm sorry to hear about his nose. I hope he knows what he's doing. In his position, I would just look for work in Howler's Dell or ask help from his friends at the Pelt. I've been to many settlements warning the locals about the plague. You don't have to worry about their safety. That actually scares me. I don't know if I should be doing that, because I might have also killed their trade. I'm going to tell them about the druid's plan. I may know a way to help you with the plague, you begin. Even before you can end your story, various voices interrupt you with all sorts of queries, which results in a long, chaotic conversation. As their enthusiasm rises, more people approach the gate, chiming in with their doubts or asking for things that have already been explained. Through the hole in the gate, you see a swarm of shifting faces and clothes. It's understandable that they're worried. I'll tell them everything I know. It's a waste of time. Let me speak with one soul at a time. You can discuss it later on. I'll try and tell them everything I know. Honestly, they're troubled. We have to be as kind as we can be. The locals spend most of the time arguing with each other about the hope, desperation, doubt, and distrust. You're even accused of trying to manipulate desperate souls. Reaching the point where you can move on takes you a good few minutes. There isn't much you can do from here, but as I said, awakening the altar requires pneuma. If you've something I could use as a sacrifice, it will be a huge help. Yet another discussion occurs on the other side, though this time it's more organised, with one soul speaking at a time. When Tertia addresses you, there's sadness in her eyes. There are no enchanters here, Warden. All the magic potions we had were used to fight the plague, and my neighbours don't want to give away our last treasure to someone they don't trust. I can't make this decision for them. Are you serious? You'd rather keep some treasure than save your lives? People on the other side fall silent. The woman observes you with reluctance. It's not the way we do stuff. We won't turn ourselves into mindless beasts. Alright, she doesn't trust me about anything. Brilliant. She doesn't trust me enough to say anything more about the other villages. I really don't want to say this one. I think that's going to be bad, but I could be wrong. Did she ask me to do this? Is this a quest? If it's a quest, I'll tell her. Plague. Healing the plague. No, that doesn't help anything. I don't think she's asking to do anything, right? Not Julia. I need Torsia, or whatever she's called. Tertiary. Yeah, I don't see anything, and I don't remember them asking me to do this. I don't want to go to the peat fields. Were the peat fields where I found the cursed place? And how long have I got left in there? It's like 10 hours, right? Okay, we need to go back to the fish place. Let me head over here. I could have also gone to the monastery, but I think I'm going to do a cycle back round again. We can forage for wild plants. I will do. That's pretty big, potentially. Because I need all the food I can get. So, I want to go to the northern road. Have my fish things caught anything? I caught 3 fish. It's huge. You pull on the rope and see 3 flopping fish inside. You prepare your axe and open up the lid and reach for your catch. You stun the animals one by one with 2 careful blows on top of their heads, then finish them off with a knife, cutting underneath the gill plates. You spend another minute or 2 bleeding out the fish in the lake. Then cover them with wax linen sheet. You should eat them soon before they spoil. We set the trap again. So hang on a minute. Can I, not worth much, but could be bartered for food or sold? Can I just consume it though? I know it's uncooked. Can I turn it into sushi? Maybe I can do something at Foggy's Lake with it. Or maybe I can do something at... Oh, Gale Rocks could do it. They're experts at fish. Okay. Take me back to Gale Rocks. Right. I'm looking for someone. I can still learn more about the wares. Who am I missing in here? You want to sell me quarrels. You want to sell me a shield. And I'm not used to it. I step away. Severina. Follow him inside. What are your thoughts about the necromancers in the White Marshes? Can you tell me more about Gale Rocks? How do I get someone to look at this arrow? Bathman, digger, boatmaker, tailor, headwoman, armourer. I'm looking for someone else. Is there a Fletcher here? Oh. A short man with absent eyes is leaning against the fence, spending his break observing the people gathered at the stools. He's wearing a torn shirt, patched together from wool in 2 shades of blue, and has long hair and a ponytail. When you get closer, he spares you a warm smile. Cheers, stranger. Are you looking for me? That depends, you respond, and he tilts his head away, observing the sky. Right, I'm Florus. I make arrows. But I don't really sell them to outsiders. It's just our thing, it is. As his elbows rest on the wooden planks, his hands dangle loosely, and you notice that they are very clean and well kept. Unusually so for an artisan. That's fine, I don't use a bow. Then no hard feelings, he titters, raises his hands to his head, stretches his back with a yawn, and gets to his stall-like spot, with a workbench covered with wooden staves, knives, sand, flint, quartz, and even obsidian. There are also oddly shaped tools that you can't really name. The man sits down in a chair. You need something from me? Before you respond, you notice the already finished arrows sticking out from the tall basket. They are divided into handspan-sized bunches, each of which has fletching in different colours and sizes. You step closer, noticing they also have varied thickness, lengths, and different materials. Why do your arrows have so many colours? He turns toward the basket and looks at the arrows as if he's just noticed them. Different needs different arrows, he simply states, resting a hand on his knee. As our forebears learned after using many spells and tools to find the best combinations that these barren hills allow for, with a nod he draws your attention to the far east, with its sparse greens and harsh rock faces. The grey feathered ones are for harpies, blue and yellow for critters you want to skin for furs. You mentioned that there are arrows that have partially orange fletching, yet somewhat different from each other. Right, orange is for shells that walk on 2 legs. If they are also green, they're for goblins. Black are for humans. So we have an arrow that was designed to kill a human. Silver for beast folk. We don't shoot at trolls, no point, he shrugs. You think about the arrow you carry in your bundles, orange and black. After you ask if the different types truly make a difference, he clicks his tongue. Maybe. I was taught that spells make it so, but I'm no enchanter. Doesn't hurt to be prepared. Tell me about your work. He hums to himself a bit, tilting his head left and right, looking at various tools and parts in front of him. There's a lot to say, stranger, and I won't look for a successor anytime soon. After he suggests that he can be as brief as he would like to be, he shrugs. I don't know. I grab this. He reaches for a stave. Round it with this. He points at some sort of tool, then at the sand. Then cut the feathers, press them into a nook. That's the groove here. He lets you take a closer look and carries on. Then I make a proper head all by myself. You tie everything and there it is. An arrow. Seeing your confusion, he simply clears his throat and gets back to work. Wouldn't it be easier for you to make just the shafts for a day, then the heads on another, with a good rhythm? You'd make more arrows in less time. He speaks slowly, just discovering this idea together with you. More arrows, right? But doing the same thing over and over for hours? He leans away with reluctance growing in his eyes by the second. That would be even more boring. I'd rather die. He says with an exaggerated sigh. Honestly, I feel you, brother. We don't need to sell arrows, just have enough of them. After you mention that this is the method that would be used in the city, he gives you a sorrowful glance. Nightmarish. I'll leave him to his work. Okay. Can I go back to the smoker? I have a fish. Saltus. Okay. How about I go to the coast then? 2 hours left. How long? Oh, I might not be able to get back to Foggy's. I might have to spend the night at the horrible place in Gale Rocks. There's a fresh piece of driftwood and the remains of little animals sinking in the sand. There are no boats, nets, or fishes in sight, but there are countless boot prints and footprints in the sand, both on the road next to it. I approach the pier. There's no one here. Great. They've come back to the Gale Rocks. Well, time well spent there. Right, Photios? Can I not sell this fish? This place is so fucking useless. Is there... Merchant. A young carrier chuckles. And what would you buy without a wagon and donkeys? Ugh, fine, Rafina. You have a sewing kit, a gambeson repair kit, outfit repairs. I already own that. Please, I want to sell my fish. Okay, I've come to the conclusion they don't want their arrow back. So we know it's human. But they just won't buy it. I'm really perturbed by this. I can find more about the wares. Can I just search for a job? But I don't want to help Photos because he wants to boil the blood of his daughter. Navka? Luno? She wants to open the tunnel. I've just talked to you, Rafina. Severina? What are your thoughts about the necromancers in White Marshes? You always jump away when the crossbowman shifts the position, but she turns out to just be uncomfortable with the way she's sitting. Severina smirks, but as she starts to speak, her voice grows worried. What happened in White Marshes is a sign of cowardice and weakness. I've seen my share of harsh years, and I sympathise. I do. With tribes that had to feed their people with tree bark, or decide which mother will eat enough to feed infants. But all of them walking corpses will get out of the charms and murder their masters, like they always do. And instead of hunger and cold, they'll face the end of their souls. All we can keep ourselves is safe. All we can do is keep ourselves safe, even. You tried to ask a few more questions, but to no avail. We don't really travel there often, stranger. And some of the knowledge we gather in this place is for our ears alone. I nod. You can't trust that I will keep anything between us. Can you tell me a bit more about Gale Rocks? She speaks slowly with a kindness that someone may show an annoying brat that has one less chance to learn from their mistakes. Do I look like someone who'd be interested in spending time as a guide or a telltale? Before you answer, she starts to move around a few small packages. I look inside one. Scat. Spend some time amongst our walls. Speak with the fishers, the artisans. All them lads and lasses who blood keep our shell of a village alive. I sigh. See you later. Artisan. I'm looking for an artisan. You learn that the locals craft mostly in winters. God damn it! The Gatekeeper? Gale Rocks, you've quoted me unhappy again. Right, let me sleep here. I will pay for you in labour. Right. So I think on the way back, I will go to Foggy's. Can I sell you a fish? I can. You know, we're by a lake, She laughs and gestures for you to take your catch away. There are fresh fish in creeks, salty ones in Gale Rocks. Maybe try the Ape Ale Inn in Howlers or in the Pelt of the North. You guys are all scumbags. Alright, we're heading back down again. You know what? We have to go to the Pelt. I'm just going to head all the way to the Pelt. Right. Armour is not here. Enter the inn. Do I have anything you want to buy? The fish. You put it on the counter, if you may. He glances at your catch and at the stove. My crew doesn't hunt for fish. The lakes and rivers are too far away, and they aren't trained with all the weaving worms and rods. Sell me 2 at once, and I'll give you a coin. I ain't wasting the firewood on just 1. Deal. You pull out some items. Wait, have I still got 1 fish then? Fuck me, I've got 1 fish. Can I cook the fish? Alright, see you later. The Gatekeeper Quintus. He looks at a mug listening to your tale. So what do you expect me to do with him once he's here? He can handle some easy tasks. Ask him to be on the lookout for the beasts and travellers. He's a brave, strong soul. He could assist your hunters on their trips. He's brave. He's a strong soul. He could assist your hunters. We use our wits and traps, not so much brute force. But I guess you're right. A fierce fighter may be of use. He rubs his arm and reaches for a piece of roasted lizard. Bring him here. I offer him gruel and a corner to sleep, and I'll pay him once he helps us catch some worthy game. About Glossier's band. Fives has sent me to other villages. The band's the folks in White Marshes, so she's not interested in your deal. Without a word, he puts your payment on the counter, then glances at your nose. I appreciate that you've been so thorough. You've already done more than I asked for. I still have the crossbow to sell, so let's say we'll lower its price, just for you. Keep up the good work. He walks towards the window, opens it and looks outside. I was afraid it might be like that. Times will get rough, yet there may never be a threat large enough to unite this bunch of anarchists. He rests his hand on the windowsill. I have another job, if you're interested. I'll pay you 10 coins for finding out what Glaucia really wants. Ideally not by a direct question, but if there's no other way, he shrugs. He turns back to you and for a few words looks you in your eyes. And better act before she marks you as her next prey. Being a lonely traveller and all, work with me and I'll do my best to keep you safe if you ever decide to hide behind our walls. Let's say I find her. Any tips on how I can get on a good side? Assuming she has one, I only have one tip for you. If she sees that you can be broken, she will not hesitate to make it happen. Alright, she sounds like a cheerful chap. Show me your wares, by the way. I need rations. 1? Damn it, I forgot I can only buy 1 at a time. Anyway, this is enough rations for me now. We're good. Can I give the Gatekeeper a fish? Right, take me to the Elder's Cave now. Wait, can I... Ask one. Can I put a bronze rod in your place, please? I'd like to put this rod on your watchtower for you to see at the Enchantress. She moves it close to her face, observing it with widened eyes. Is this some sort of magic thing? After your reassuring words, she's unconvinced. I don't know. I ain't fired up to do such favours. Maybe ask me after you spend some more time around. Show us what you're capable of, or play dice with us when you have an hour to spare. These folks here. She starts to whisper and points with her thumb at the guards behind. They crave gossip. What if I give you a coin? She laughs. Sure of that. She reaches out to you, palm up. You give her a dragon bone and a rod. We'll tie it somewhere, don't you worry. Perfect. Right. Oh, sorry. What? What did I even do? How would... What? We could use another pair of hands here, someone who knows the way around the woods. You start to explain that you'd rather stick into the saddle, but she waves it off. So help me find a better soul. There are 2 people I've heard of who would like to join us. Erastos from White Marshes and Cassia from Gale Rocks. She rubs the side of her board and pushes it away gently as if she's asking a child to play by itself for a few minutes. The thing is, we already have hunters who used to live in these places, and they told me they ain't all too eager to welcome them here. I'd like you to speak with them both, and ask the folks from their tribes about them. Before I make a decision whom I should invite, I need to be sure they can handle the job. What's in it for me, by the way? Coins, dirt, she giggles. How about 5? I'll bring you a few more if you amaze me with all the news you bring. Tell me about Arastos, a trapper. A few months ago, he told a passing by caravan he wanted to leave his home, and asked him to bring us his message. One of the past neighbours told me he remembers Arastos as a weak, quiet boy. I ain't sure he knows how to fight, but we'd rather use traps anyway. About Cassia. She mentioned to Asterion she'd like to come here. She's a guard, but I've heard she's more of a talker than a fighter. Gale Rocks is so far away, I'd really prefer not to travel so far away, but if she's the better choice, I may have no option. Alright, I'll tell you. Oh, sweet. I got a job done. Or I got a job to do. Oh, can I sleep here? 2 hours. How long have I got left? Okay, we're gonna sleep here. I'm hungry. Okay. I enter the inn. Any leftovers? No. God damn it. Okay, how about I rent a room then? I will spend one of my dragon coins. The shivers wake you up. You hear the hunters leaving the building. You look through the window, but the fog is so dense you hardly see the wall around you. Still, they are being patrolled by the night shift, which places torches and carries lanterns. I stay inside hoping there are no curses carried by the fog. Okay, any leftovers by the way? No. That's highly ambitious. Okay. I'm going. See you later. So let me head back to the Elder and see if I can put a bronze thing there. Can we talk about Phoebe Photis' daughter? I wonder why you don't wear robes like the druids and howlers. I'm trying to learn more about this trapper Arastos. You're going to say the enchantress has asked me to place these bronze rods in high spots across the peninsula. I should be done in about half an hour. He takes and observes the rod for a moment and closes his eyes and bites it gently. When he returns it, he seems unconvinced. I sense a spirit in it, but I need one who can tell who's behind it. How can I be sure? You explain what you know about the nature of the rods, but he changes the topic to Eudocia herself. Another minute passes by before he accepts that you indeed know her. Fine. I'll ask for a story next time I see her. Go, but away from the spring. Don't break your neck. Even a child could get to the higher parts of such a jagged cliff, though you have no reason to expect all the loose rocks to be cleared. I take off my armor and put away my weapons and bags. I'm gonna get murdered. This is how I die, right? I just fall off the side of a cliff. The bronze rod is attached to your body like a cord. As you place your feet and hands on the rocks, you realise that you have to move slowly, maintaining your balance, pushing away smaller and larger pebbles, making sure that the wall doesn't collapse under your feet. The rocks are coarse, supporting your grasp, and you rarely find a sharp spot. The climb resembles a nice summer walk, though your muscles are not prepared for such movements. You find the perfect spot, a small crack between two massive rocks. You use the rod to broaden it just a bit, then push it halfway in and fill the gap with a rag. Doing it with one hand makes you dizzy, but not for long. I take a short break to catch a second breath. Climbing down is easier, though you struggle to recall exactly where you had previously placed your limbs. The warm sun eases your tension. After a few minutes you land on the soft grass and dust off your hands. Once again you repair your equipment. The druid gives you a shining rod, a pouty look. Can we talk about Phoebe, Photis' daughter, please? He's still trying to get a spirit rock? After your nod, he closes his eyes slowly, allowing the gentle breeze to shake his beard. Asterion mentioned the man's anger and denial, the pride in his efforts but also pain, as he can accept his daughter as the spirits have shaped her. He opens his eyes, leads you to the main path, and looks northwest at the very distant mountains. Behind Old Pagos you'll find the monastery, with its respectable monks and their haunting temple. Speak with them with ni anger, but also ni foolery. Maybe Photios will listen to the right followers. Oh, good idea, actually. Now, how about Arastos? Have you heard of this guy? Are you sure he's still a trapper still? His tone is inquisitive. I spoke with him in this very place not so long ago, and he was convinced he's going to take a lighter craft. Ah, okay. Can I enter the cavern? I need to place a rest. Oh, caravan, sorry. Why would I let strangers do that? Fair enough. Why don't you wear robes like the other Druids from Howl's Den? I wear what I need, and therefore what is needed of me. He speaks with pride. My ancestors knew such a path leads to freedom. Ni empty gestures, but honesty, gratitude, and tranquility. He looks toward the north. Those left in the village are putting their hands into matters that fit the empty-hearted. Their petty clothes are but a costume, ni better than the dress of a merchant or a pretty rock thrown into a lake. What can you tell me about the Druids? He strokes his beard gently. The forest guides us, and we share its wisdom with the tribes. We and they ought to stay humble. Take from the land what is needed instead of what is wanted. Near because 'tis something we believe in, but because it protects us from the wrath of the herds. To stay safe, one needs to know how to be patient, take restraint into their heart, and to make the beasts listen to us. We keep the animals healthy, teaching them near approach our homes and travellers. That sounds reasonable. He is observing your lips. You need anything else? How do you survive in this place all by yourself? His raised voice makes him sound like a preacher. One day me and my wife will be but defenseless old people, but we studied pneuma and leaves for many decades. I heal wounds and illnesses of humans and animals alike, and the beasts listen to our whispers. The holy seed lets our shells wait for death and strength. Since you know so much about nature, could you predict the weather for me? If 'tis so easy, why can the every soul learn to read the weather? His harsh gaze shifts into an amused smile, but it may just be that ancestors have taught me a few tricks. It takes him a few minutes to study the clouds, listen to the wind, touch the rocks and observe the flight of birds and insects. In the end, he crouches with a flexibility that's surprising for his age, and speaks out loud a few words in the old speech, drawing a vague symbol in the ground with a finger, then almost violently grasping the soil. He stands up and blows into his fist, spreading its content in front of him. He then nods towards you. It'll be warm and a gentle day. Oh, okay, so this guy is also the weatherman. I don't care what the weatherman says when the weatherman says it's raining. You'll never hear me complaining. Actually, that's not true. You'll hear me complaining a lot. Right, I need to go back to the gate. I also need to go to Howler's Dell now, right? Wait, where were these people from, sorry? That you just asked me to find? Not missing hunters, recruiter hunter. Gale Rocks, oh, it was White Marshes, sorry. Well, we probably need to go back there at some point anyway. Maybe I go back to this rock slide first, actually. And maybe I can put a rod here. Okay, all I can do is turn back. Great. Right, let me go to the gate and finish this quest off then. Have you ever met Aristos? Nah, I don't remember him trading with my neighbours once or twice. But I never spoke with him. A bit of a wimp. What's wrong with your voice, by the way? Why did he speak so differently at the start? It's the food, the delirium. Here's the food you asked for, and here's the bronze rod. His wide grin makes you think for a moment that he is going to swallow the entire package at once. Leave it to me. I'll shove it into a crack with one or two cords. It will resist rain, frost, and fogs. Why are you afraid of Glaucia? Warden, I can't talk about her. His shoulders slump, making him look like a wounded troll. I've got to look after this gate for her, or she'll hurt someone important to me. If she learns I'm telling stories about her, I'm dead too. Oh, holy shit. So she might actually have the people of this peninsula under her thumb. Okay. About your duty. What's there to say? Earson will allow you to stay his inn. He'll even pay you after you help the hunters on one of the more vicious trips. He crosses his arms, still hesitant. Won't be more risky than this place, and I'd finally have time to rest a bit. But what before that? Am I to live on oats and water in rags? If you're really desperate for coins, I could spare you a few, enough for you to get comfortable at the inn. He steps away. He already helped me quite a bit. I can't ask you for that. I need to pay him 17 coins to make him head to the inn. What are you talking about? Is he wanting to live in like a harem in the inn? Is he gonna buy maids and stuff? I've never seen 17 coins in my life. That's a vast fortune. It's 1 coin for fucking bed and board and a bath. 17! 17! God damn you! Why do you guys make this as hard as possible? Anyway, I'm going to the monastery. God damn it! It blows me away that it's 17. Oh, God. Like, I thought he was going to ask for maybe 3 at max. 3 coins. You know, a few nights to, you know, get under your belt. I could give 3 coins. 17, though? Holy shit. God damn this guy. A white and black eagle is circling around you, but leaves you alone before you reach the monastery. There's no soul in sight. From the mountain comes a cheerful singing of a woman, though you can't understand a single word. Like, is he expected to eat off gold, like, gold-plated plates? Is he expecting, you know, to eat peeled grapes and stuff? What? 17 dragon bones. You call the monks by hitting the sticks, and the drawbridge lowers. Aeli gestures for you to enter the storage house with his bandaged hand. Warden, he nods. Is all alright. His young companion is next to him, observing your palfrey. Ask about Phoebe and the spirit rock. Nah, I wouldn't bite into the art touched by that witch. He hides his bandaged hand behind his back. Why does the father think it may work? You'll portray the situation as accurate as you can. Aeli gets close to the cliff, observing the river beneath it, and spending a good few minutes considering the situation. Suddenly he turns toward you with wide open eyes, making his companions stagger. He's lying to thee, he announces with a great dose of enthusiasm. He seeks no cure for the lack of pneuma, but rather for the lack of soul itself. Before Adir's calling to greatness, the tribes of the Dragonwood saw the spellless children as empty shells, throwing them to beasts just as often as they did with the crippled and short-witted. There's this tale. He glances at you. Thou won't remember it anyway, but the tablets carry no doubt. Tribes shan't hurt those touched with this condition, as there's no such stuff as soulless children. Ah. What can you tell me about Arastos, by the way? So he's lying. A lack of soul itself? Interesting. What can you tell me about Arastos? I can a lot, but should not. He's a troubled soul. You ask him a few more questions, unable to shatter his patience, and the monk thinks about his words carefully. He saw as an alchemist, not right's followers. His heart craves someone it can't have, and he begged us for a remedy. But there's no potion that can cut such ties, only time. When you mention Arastos sounds like a determined young man, Aeli scoffs, more like a child who thinks the day they're touching is the only one that will ever come. I don't really want to fucking talk about the rods, because clearly the guy's not going to let me do it. Hey, these bronze rods, would you guys be okay with me putting them on the side of your religious, you know, monument? You've brought her magic here, he steps back, while Decima turns toward you and reaches behind her back with one hand. Ailey's voice is close to a shout. Take it away before you put all of us in danger! Calm down, it's just a piece of bronze. His pale face starts turning red. The echo adds a thunder to his words. You're not asked for your thoughts! You think yourself a judge after you put your trust in that witch! He points at you with a bandaged finger. She's a beast in clothes! Its claws will tear away thy hand! Okay, so I'm looking for a few hunters from the creeks. Were they here? Hunters from the creeks? He mimics your voice with a hint of mockery. Not a soul from there has reached this temple inn. He rubs his back of his bandaged hand and looks for a monk who's carrying buckets of water. A decade. They've got enough hunting grounds in the heart of the woods. The watchtower, the northern hills. I have some questions about the monastery. Does this place have a name, or is it just a monastery? What can you tell me about your order? Does this place have a leader of sorts? Tell me about your faith. How does one become a monk? Oh my god, I don't care. I just simply don't care. What do you know about necromancers to the north? He rubs the little spots on his forehead with his bandaged hand, looking one-eyed short companion. This and that. What's your sense of necromancy? That's stupid. We know what his stance on necromancy is. Alright, so 4 hours to get up to there. I have 6 hours left. Well, take him back to Howler's Dell, I guess. Oh, as you descend, you think of Ailey's reaction to the bronze rod. You could ignore him and take a few minutes to tie it to one of the ledges just nearby. This place is already high above the woodlands. Just in case I look behind and get on the ground. This is the monks' land that I should obey their lords. I ride ahead. Fuck the monks. I'm putting this in the ground. You seek a spot that isn't too easily seen from the trail, then make sure it won't crumble under your weight. After a few minutes, you finish placing the rod, held by a cord, and a few heavy rocks. You doubt anyone would stumble upon it. I continue my journey. Listen, if you'd just give me the fucking basalt rock salt so I could fight creatures, I wouldn't be doing this. You approach the opening gate, then swiftly dismount. A guard approaches you, ready to take your mount to a stable. Well, Commander Lorno, how's the outside world for you? We gossip for a bit. The curious locals gather around to take part in your conversation. Recently, 3 kids have had a pretty severe fever, but the druids managed to keep it under control. Oh shit, they've got the plague, haven't they? Uh-oh. They have the plague. Well, that's a problem. I was meant to speak with Arastos for Dalit. Let's speak to him. You ask an archeress if she could point you to the trapper, and she directs you beyond the walls to the edge of the northern pasturage. There, next to the creek, a lone wanderer examines simple box traps. They're placed every few steps, and judging by the man's empty sack, so far all of them turned out to be empty. Hearing your steps, the man sends you a glance, but soon returns to his task. In the city, he'd be barely seen as an adult. His facial hair is sparse and light. He's shorter and slimmer than most women in his tribe. His elegant dark blue tunic suits his tan skin, and the longer dagger he's carrying has a carved handle. He's crouching, looking toward the other bank and playing with blades of grass. Dalit heard you're interested in heading south. He turns his head only slightly as if it was easier than raising his voice, but he still avoids looking at you. She did? Are you taking me there? His voice is surprisingly deep, adding to his years. Can you survive in the woods? It gives you a puzzled look. Why would I? I'll go with the group, dig holes, sharpen sticks. It isn't like I'm going to put anyone in danger. What are you going to bring to the table? He waves at the boxes, you see. Caught a hare yesterday. Near the box, in a snare. And I can cut and dress pelts too. You wait a bit longer, but he has nothing more. Will you not miss home? He drops the grass on the ground, stands up and wipes his hands against his pants. Nah, they want to talk to. This job's more difficult than you think. His voice grows frustrated. All hunters active to the masters of the woods, but they die all in time. He grabs the nearest box. One of the walls turns out to be loose, so he adjusts it quickly and starts to wander away. Just give me a chance to do what you want, and I'll do it. I can go any day, any hour. Alright, I guess that's that. You strange boy. Right, trader? Would you like to buy a fish off me? Why are you putting it here? You want to cook it? Take it to Eric's there. Ah, okay. You have any issues with Aristos? He wags his long finger. What do you mean? He broke something again. And what now? He wants me to pay you back? Tell him to fix it on his own, or grab him and drag him here. You wait for a few moments. Not sure if you should ask how many times such a thing has happened before. His breath is heavy. Well, I can't afford to buy anything right now, so see you later. Eric's. Did someone contact you about work for me? You had a chance to talk with Aristos lately. His eyes get gentle. Poor kid. Is he in trouble again? You mentioned that someone wants to offer him a job, but the innkeeper lets out a sigh and leans against the counter. Maybe that's for the better. Lately he's been struggling around here. While he's far from eager to share the details, one part in particular catches your attention. There's the thing with bad affection, you see. My wife was clear he ought to stay away from our daughters until both them and they passed 20, but it's easier said than done. I caught some nice fish, would you like to barter for a food ration? He raises the fish to sniff it and holds his beard back, keeping it clean. There are many fish in our creek. I'll put them in a soup or bake them for sauce. How many do you have? I'll give you a healthy meal for each one. Take one. He sold a fish for a food ration. Brilliant. He takes the fish inside, making quite a bit of noise once there. When he returns, he's holding a small package wrapped in waxed cloth, which should be somewhat waterproof. Brilliant. Did someone contact you about work for me? Very much so. Ask for Timo. She's usually at the creek just outside the southern wall doing laundry. She wants to find herself a husband. There's not much in it for you unless you'll be here for the marriage rites, but he'll make her happier. Oh, I have a job from you apparently. So Timo. I'm looking for some hunters. He rubs his neck and looks in the clouds. I recognise those names, but I've seen they folks from the creeks in a long time. They come here before and after the winter to trade for grains. Right, thanks. Does the mayor want anything? Oh, Aristos. Questions. She makes an odd grimace trying to smile while expressing confusion. I doubt there's much to say here. He's just a trapper and not the best one. Alright, thanks. Okay, Aristos, things are not looking good for you, buddy. Timo, the washwoman. You entering matchmaking. Before you reach the gate, oh my god. It's the longest bit of text I've ever seen. Before you reach the gate, you find 3 washwomen who are walking down the path, chatting loudly. The wet hair on their arms and legs shines, contrasting the mud on their feet. Some of them wear soaked shirts even. Ooh, saucy. All have heads wrapped in kerchiefs. You know, from the city how hard and sometimes dangerous their job can get. You glance over to their laundry baskets filled with clothes and buckets of urine. Okay, maybe not saucy. Once they notice you, one of them puts her things next to a fence and tells the others to go ahead without her. Her companions giggle, but loyally leave the 2 of you alone. I was hoping to speak with a traveller. She starts and looks away. Whenever she speaks, she's both very direct and distracted, struggling to explain her plans. After a brief conversation, you try to sum it all up. So you seek a man who'd agreed to take part in the marriage rites of your druids. She nods energetically, but then freezes. She's tanned from work, but her face is young and smooth, and since her hair is hidden, her bright hazel eyes keep drawing your attention. Nay, just any man, she interrupts you angrily. Someone who stays in the sun and works hard for us and her kids. You ask if she has any children already, and after another minute of her awkward explanations, you take a guess that she doesn't. Listen! I've already forgot your name. Tommy? Whoever you were. Ditty? Dimmy? Dommy? Dunny? Tommy? Timmy? Timo? 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 Timo! Listen, Timo. I found your man. The man who is the manliest of man. Ruggedly handsome. Often seen in the sun, in the saddle, with a single axe and his valiant horse, Shadowmane. It is but I. You ask if it would make a difference to her to move to a different village. We live good lives here, safe and plentiful. I'd rather stay, but I could leave with a safe convoy. Right, see you later. So I'm looking for a match for Timo now. I'm gonna guess. Let's go to the creeks for that because they seem wild people. Right. Do you know about Erissus as well? She doesn't stop at work. Better than I know you. Right, thanks. You want to sell me junk? Oh, I don't want a new set of clothes. No. Holy mother of God! And I thought 17 dragon bones for, stay was a lot. A fancy dress is 32 dragon bones. What? Yeah, good luck with selling that, you crazy bee. Can you tell me anything about Aristos, druids? Or Elpis? Show us the other elders. And I doubt this boy did something that would require the attention of the city folk. Right. No one will talk to me. No one is my friend, despite the fact I've done everything in this peninsula. Alright, well, I'm going to call it there for this episode. I'm probably going to have to rest in this place anyway. Actually, I say that. Maybe I can get up to Foggy's. Sure, let's head up to Foggy's, because I think I'm going to need to go to the creeks next. Although I say I'm going to go to the creeks. What am I even going to do in the creeks? I kind of need to get back to her residence, but I don't want to run all the way... Actually, maybe I do want to run all the way back round. I kind of want to put more bronze rods out. How many bronze rods have I done so far? Because she said after 4 she'll give me money. Okay, I've put 4 out. Okay, maybe I will head that way then. I don't want to cut through the middle again though, because that seems unbelievably bad. So, take me to the Pelt of the North again. The yard is stained with coughed out blood. The trail leads into the building. The hunters are tense with weapons at hand, looking at you if you're bringing them answers. You're approached by Dalit. You heard? The lieutenant from Hag Hills fled from her camp. She would be dead without her potions. What happened? A troll. There's a hint of shame in her voice. She says she stopped it, but not before it tore the other soldier to pieces. Better speak with her. Alright, we're not ending this part just yet then. The innkeep greets you with a nod, then his eyes lead you to the bench in the corner. Julia is sitting with her head resting against the wall, heavily breathing with clean bandages on her neck, arm and leg. Next to her are 3 small bottles, all of them open, but your nose catches no scent of ale. Her gambeson on the floor, now more of a rag than armour. As you sit down next to her stool, she opens one eye, then another. Her grunt is hesitant. Tell me about the attack.
There isn't much to say. It came in the early hours. We threw and shot at it everything we could. After it broke through the gate, I had one last arrow left. My subordinate,
her voice is bitter,
gave me time to aim, and now he's gone.
Summer is almost over. We should soon travel back to the city. Did you manage to burn the other soldier? Do you still have my reward, or is it back at the camp? Take another look at the main hall. I haven't found the Styrian. Did you manage to burn the soldier? Google, don't search for that, please. I didn't ask for you. Okay, Google, stop. Google, you're ruining everything. You're ruining the atmosphere. This is meant to be a tense, solemn situation. And you're trying to find apps for me. Stupid technology. I'm not asking about my reward, that's truly stupid. I kind of want to say this one, but I don't want to go back to the city. I want to do more stuff here. Don't ask about the reward, that's so callous. That might be one of the most callous things I've ever seen as like an option in a game. Did he manage to burn the other soldier? I don't even like this option, but I hate the rest more. The sorrow in her eyes makes the shake of her head redundant. Summer is almost over. We should soon travel back to the city. She shrugs. Well, if any city rat is going to criticize me for getting out of here before the end of my watch, they can jump into the sea. For all I care. I can head back whenever. Oh, so I can just end the series whenever I want now. I can. Julia, chill out, my darling. Get as much rest as you can. $45. Is this a sensible time to be travelling? Not really, but I can get there and back. Did the troll die? That's the important thing right now. The road is covered with paw prints. From time to time you spot bloodstains, spit out by someone with deep wounds. The black carrion eaters are circling ahead above the camp. I may need to turn around. Ah. You don't reach the walls. The carcass is serving as a feast of birds and dragonlings, a few of which are resting on the ground, waiting for the next wave of hunger. One of them gets back on its paws, giving you a warning stare. The path of the troll's charge is marked with broken arrows and puddles of blood. The soldiers fought bravely, but the camp will be of no use until someone arrives here with a wagon of timber. Alright, see you later. So this place is just useless now. Okay. I thought I'd check it. Anyway. God. The lights are promising a refuge. The guards have bows and spears in their hand, and some rush to the gate only to close it again right after you ride inside. Bored with life, Roadwarden? One of them grumbles. Haven't you noticed it's almost dark? Yeah, I timed it perfectly. Okay, we'll end this episode here. I think in the next part we go to the Enchantress. And we tell her about, you know, her parents who have passed away. I can get some reward for the copper things. And I don't know, maybe she can tell me something about the abandoned watchtower. Maybe she has the key, I don't know. I kind of figured, I forgot his name already, but the guy here had on the western gate would have the key to the eastern gate, but I don't know. Maybe it's in Old Pagos even. Maybe I have to cure the plague. But I need magical things. And there is part of me now that's considering sacking the bronze rods on the altar and accepting I'm going to lose some money because I've already lost the ability to put one in Howler's Dell. I've got one in Elder's Cave, one in the Pelt of the North, one at the monastery. Where did I put the fourth one? So I need to put one in White Marshes, so we do have to go back there again. Oh, I put one on the gate. So if I can get one in White Marshes, Creeks, and I mean, it's going to be hard in Creeks because they've already said no. But just if I can get some in the north, I think she'd be pretty happy with me. Or I hope she'll be happy with me. But I think we go there, see what she says, and then I probably head back round the western route. I go clockwise. I will try and go to the White Marshes again, I suppose. Or maybe the Creeks first, because really, I don't have a lot of things in the White Marshes to do, I feel, so far. And at some point I need to go back to Photios, because it seems like he's lying about needing the magic stones. And then failing all of that, we're going to have to go to these abandoned places at some point, I guess, and just deal with them. But I'm a little bit worried that I don't have a lot of knowledge on them, so maybe we do some asking around again at some point. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you on the next part. Goodbye.